Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
Fashion emergency hotline.
Help! My mom doesn't think I need to go back to school.
You have to go to school. It's the law.
You didn't let me finish. She doesn't think I need to go back to school shopping.
That should be a law. Go to Old Navy. You'll be voted best dressed before school even starts.
Old Navy?
Yes, right now, kids' clothes are up to 60% off.
60% off?
Yeah, the hallway will be your runway. They have awesome graphic tees, colorful active gear, and jeans start at just $10.
Now you're talking. Thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank Old Navy. Valid 7/28 to 9/2. Select styles only.
Output, so we won't get feedback.
TheWonderMill.com, the best grain mills on the market, with the ability to mill several items that many grain mills will not. There are 2 grain mills to choose from. The Wonder Mill Electric. It's fast and gives you a vast variety of items it can grind. The Wonder Junior Hand Grain Mill can grind a wide variety of things that even some of the most expensive hand grain mills cannot, including oily grains, nuts, and seeds. Learn more about the most resourceful tool that you may ever own. See all the exciting things that Wonder Mill can do for you and what you eat at thewondermill.com.
You've just joined the Prepper Broadcasting Network, where we promote self-reliance and independence. The views and opinions expressed are strictly those of the host or their guests. Visit us in the interactive chat room at prepperbroadcasting.com.
Academy radio show. My name is Forrest Garvin. I'm here with Kyle. Kyle, say hi.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, that works. It is Friday, July 26th. July 22nd. I'm sorry.
26.
I know. I have 26.
Dyslexia.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are live every Friday night, Eastern Standard Time. Join us. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, we ask you to swing over to prepperbroadcasting.com. Join us there where you can join in on our live chat, which is happening right now. Please use a name that we recognize if we know you. That way we can mute you. I'm kidding. Also, you can call in with questions and comments. That number is 347-202-0228. Again, that is 347-202-0228. And you can listen. And if you want to ask a question, press 1. It'll put you in the queue. And G-Man will warn me who you are, and we will cut you off. Okay, maybe not. No.
Yeah.
What we want to do is we're going to... the Prepper Academy is a fully interactive Friday night live show. We want to interact with our listeners via chat room, via voice. So it helps if you're involved. So tonight we're going to go over a class that I teach at my academy. And it's really a 6-part class, and we're doing part 1 tonight. Kyle's going to help me. Kyle's actually been under. I wouldn't say you were taking the class, but you've been in the class.
Yeah, I've been in the class.
And so we're going to discuss the class, and And what we're doing is, if you can, I've broken the class up into 6 parts. Each part covers 2 months. So I can either teach it every 2 months for a year, or I can just download it all to you in 6 classes in a day, but there's a lot of notes. What it does is takes you from day 1 out to a whole year of everything you need to know about prepping.
It's also broken up, so it's more affordable for people who are just getting into prepping. You know, we still live in a busy world, still have bills to pay, everything like that. You know, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, there's still a way that you can afford to prep.
Right.
By breaking it down.
And we break it down into things you got to buy, things you need to train for, and then mindset. So we try to cover all 3 areas, and we try to treat you like you're a brand new prepper.
Yeah.
And you're scared to death, but you want to learn.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is too, the mindset. That's the biggest thing for me, because it's kind of like if I sit you down and I had you binge watch Walking Dead, you'd be in the fetal position for like 6 weeks.
I tried watching that show. It just did not work for me. I know that's a huge show for preppers.
Yes.
But I guess I got to like show 4, and this guy kills this girl between these cars, and I'm like, okay, they're zombies, I know.
Like that. You start reading, you start researching, next thing you know, you're overwhelmed. You think, oh my God, I got to spend $20,000. And same thing, you're in the fetal position.
Yep. But before we get into that class, a couple of things. We actually have, I came up with a new segment. Again, if y'all know, I'm not a big conspiracy theory person. Kyle is the biggest. And so, so it's like today's conspiracy theory with Kyle. So what is your big conspiracy theory today that you've been thinking about, or you think that, oh, there's more proof for, you know, just, and I know this on the spot. Kyle did not know this was going to happen until minutes ago.
The biggest thing probably today, I'm stuck somewhere between an article I read about Russia and traveled over there, and a lot of Russians are basically saying that, you know, when are we going to war? Like, we know it's coming. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's all the tension over in the South China Sea, the tension over along the borders there, along the Black Sea, everything that went on in Crimea and Ukraine. And now you see headlines where a lot of Russians, and obviously they've been through wars before, they've went through hard times, and it's amazing to me that, you know, here in America, preppers are going for, you know, beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. Stereotypically, over in Russia, they're going for salt and buckwheat and cheap corn, stuff like that. Real basic, simple, cheap foods, and they're bulking up on it because they see it coming.
So in a socialist government, people are actually prepping in Russia. That kind of scares me, though.
Yeah.
That if they're prepping over there,
yeah, that
tells me that they're concerned.
Oh wait, socialist? Were you talking about Russia, or are you talking about us?
Russia, well, us, communism. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I mean that is interesting that they're prepping in Russia.
Yeah. And then the other thing, too, it's been, you know, kind of dumbed down in the news with everything else going on. There's obviously what's happening over in Turkey. You had one of our nuclear bases, stores 50 nuclear warheads. They shut that down, shut the power off to it, sent in investigators, and purging the military. They have a list of 50,000 individuals that you're trying to detain. And then they post today that they want a cleric who was originally over in Turkey, them extradited. And that was part of the agreement with turning the power back onto the base. So I figured you're bartering 50 nukes essentially for one cleric. What's so special about that one individual? And they're trying to blame the coup on him, but kind of hard to dictate a coup from Pennsylvania.
Well, they're not so. I mean, conspiracy theories. They don't fit the conspiracy theory. Kyle?
No, it fits in the grander picture.
Yeah,
but you know, I mean, I could go on Pokemon Go, but I don't want to bore everyone.
My kids just walked outside a few minutes ago doing that. That's embarrassing. So that's a minute with Kyle and conspiracy theories. Next time, I'll let him know that we started that segment. That way he'll be with us. Again, if you're listening, join us in the chat room on prepperbroadcasting.com. Go to live shows. You'll see scroll down. You'll see a window you can join in the chat room. So tonight's topic is a class that I've taught several times, and it's Intro to Prepping 101. And it literally takes someone, the first segment is the first 60 days of someone's prepping life. So someone actually would come to us and go, hey, teach us how to prep. What do I need to do? And that's what we're going to go over tonight. Some from the kind of on the Prepper Network, I know, have been through this, and we've discussed this. But the first thing we have, so we have this broken down in 3 segments. Purchase what you need to buy. Training/action. So there's skills you got to learn, and then mindset. And so there's things you got to read, maybe movies you got to watch, people you got to follow on YouTube. We cover all 3. So let's talk about purchasing. The first thing we have down is double your pantry. You got any comments about double your pantry?
Well, most Americans, they say, have on average about a week's worth of food.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You have to think about that. How many times does the average American eat out today? Because the cost of food has gotten more and more expensive. So I can afford to go to Chipotle for about the same I can to go to the grocery store. It might actually be more expensive for me to go to the grocery store and make my meal versus going to Chipotle or something like that. So for me,
you must eat really nice at home.
I do.
Filet? Okay.
My wife's an excellent cook.
Oh, is she?
I hope she's listening. But for a lot of people, you say 2 weeks, depending on how large the family is. I mean, we're a family of 3, and I think we spend $240, somewhere around there, conservatively.
A month or every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, okay. Well, in every disaster you look at Katrina, Hugo, what's the one that happened up on the coast? Sandy. I guarantee you every one of them wish they would have had more food.
Yeah.
And this is easy. You just double what you currently have. That's simple. Let's double your pantry.
Yeah.
Just having twice the food that you currently have, you really don't, because we talked about rotating food. You really don't need to do that when it's double, do you? I mean,
no, probably not right then. But it's a good point of reference with Sandy. Back more in my heyday with some of the prepper forums and that. Who was it? On one of the forums, he went through Hurricane Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
He already had his bug out plan established, has a cabin in Pennsylvania. Wonderful guy. He and his wife were totally prepared. But what was the Red Cross doing? They had hot chocolate and marshmallows that they were handing out to.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Let's make this as fun as we can while people are suffering.
Yeah. It's, snowing outside, all that going on. And there you go. Have some hot cocoa.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
So double your pantry. That's just common sense. That's not even hardly prepping. That's just common sense. So the next one is buy a fire rod.
Absolutely. And I think, well, no, you don't have yours on, but I think usually both of us have one on our wrist every day.
Every day we have a fire rod with us, and when we get to action and training, you got to learn how to use it.
And it's important here too, because whenever it's training, different climates, different settings.
Yes.
Try it right after it rains. See how difficult it is to start a fire.
Yes. So a fire rod, and if you buy one, buy 6. I mean, as you know, we always have one on us at all times. I have one on my shoestrings, on my shoe. You've seen that.
Yep.
On my paracord bracelet, and I wear a neck knife. And I have one on there, and there's a short one, about an inch long. And I mean, that's 3 just that I wear, not if I put one in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have issues with fire.
You'll have fun. A little bit of
Fire.
pyromania.
So you got to have one, and then we'll get later on you got to use it. The next is a Sawyer water filter. And do not, let me say this clear English, do not buy a life straw.
Buy a life straw.
No.
Don't buy
a life straw. The reason why is the Sawyer water filter is not only a sponsor of mine. That's funny. But it's so versatile. You can take the Sawyer water filter, you can use it in line of your hydration pack. You can screw it on any bottle. So you can just find a water bottle, a Coke bottle, a 2-liter bottle, fill it with dirty water, take your Sawyer water filter, screw it on the top, and drink the water. It's that easy. And also the biggest reason I like Sawyer is that usually you're not surviving by yourself. You got family members, other people. And if you needed to cook with some filtered water, with a life straw, you actually have to suck the water up into your mouth and spit it into a cup. Just don't let people see you do that, I guess. But Sawyer has a bag that comes with it that's tiny, rolls up, that you can actually put the water into the bag, and then it's clean water. You don't have to, it doesn't have to go through your mouth. A life straw, I guess, is good if it's just you and you don't need to cook with the water. But a Sawyer water filter, again, is very flexible, versatile, and it's cheap. You go to Walmart and it's $20, or Amazon it's $20. It's the same as a life straw.
Yeah.
Also, the actual Sawyer actually filters, if my memory's correct, better than the life straw. So anyway, you got to have a water filter, and I would recommend Sawyer without a doubt. They also make one that you can put on a 5-gallon bucket, and it's like $30, and it does 1 million gallons of water filters. You got any comments on water filter?
Just from personal experience, yeah, I definitely recommend Sawyer. I went, whenever I first started prepping, I went out and got where the little straws you stick in there, and it uses a UV light.
Oh, yeah.
I did that. I did Sawyer. I did Katadyn.
I did that. I bought a $379 water filter. No, the Katadyn.
Oh, okay.
That you pump. It's stainless steel. Useless. I mean, it's great, but it's just the price is just outrageous.
Yeah, I have a couple of Sawyers. I have the water bottle. I have the little one that you can roll up, take travel with you. Even whenever I'm traveling for work, if I'm stuck in a hotel or something like that, I don't want to pay for bottled water. I take that sucker out, pump it through with tap water, and it's perfectly fine.
Yep. The next is a way to store water. How do you store water, Kyle?
Usually in my belly. No. My preferred method is the big 50-gallon barrels or 55-gallon barrels, the blue ones.
Yep.
I prefer doing that.
You have rain barrels?
Yes.
Okay. I have a couple rain barrels myself. Easy. That whole setup is $50.
Yeah. And then you also have the bathtub bags that you can fill up.
They're called water bobs, aren't they?
Yeah. My grandmother actually has those. She's had them for years.
What?
Yeah, my grandmother. She's a big-time prepper, man.
Okay. What he's talking about is a plastic bag that goes in your tub. It has a spout that comes so you can put the actual tub spigot in, and it fills the bag. I mean, everyone knows you don't keep your tub perfectly clean. And what this does, it lets the water be in your tub, and it's protected in the bag. And then on top is a pump, so you can pump water out. And they can usually hold 50 gallons?
At least I think.
Okay, 50 gallons or more. So if it's, if you know Hugo's coming or Sandy's coming or something, you just throw this in your tub, fill it up before it happens, and you've got a lot of water in there. That is $20, I think, on Amazon, by the way. I mean, it's pretty cheap.
So they've gone down, because I think back in the day, I think they were like $40, $50.
Yeah, I think I bought mine for $20 a few years back. The next is a bug out bag. Everyone needs a bug out bag. Now this is month 1, day 1 through 60. you're not going to complete your bug out bag in 60 days.
That's one of the things I was thinking about. I wanted to mention here is, do you need a bug out bag or do you need an everyday bag? Starting out, if I had to do it fresh all over again, I think I would have started out with an everyday bag and worked my way. So say if we're talking first 30, 60 days, I would have a bag appropriate for that time period.
Now, I agree. Are you talking like an EDC?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. You need to have an EDC. And that we actually start making that in month 2 or month 3, I believe.
Okay.
But the bug out bag, because it takes so long to build a bug out bag,
you want to start earlier.
You want to start early because you cannot buy everything that goes in a bug out bag in the first 2 months. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
And so my theory here is to give them the PDF, which we will post online, and you buy a bag and you start personal, everything in a bug out bag. If I had your bug out bag, I could use it. Well, your bug out bag is about the size of a VW Volkswagen.
You couldn't carry it. You could
couldn't carry it.
Although, whenever we did do that class, we had a lot of overlapping items.
Right. Oh, yeah. We had a lot of overlapping. Did it go in sleep mode? But mine was like, yours was twice the size of mine.
Yeah.
Well, so you can walk about 100 yards and go, crap, this is heavy.
No, I told you what I already do, and I haven't done it recently because of the heat, but I take sandbags. I measure the weight from my bug out bag. I have a cheaper bag. I fill it with sand, same weight, and I walk a couple miles. Well, obviously, whenever it's 101 degrees out, 100% humidity, I'm going to kill myself. But I have a larger bag and I have a smaller bag. The larger bag is meant to, hopefully, if it works out properly, be kind of like a refilling station. I have more in there so that I can shed weight as I go.
That is crazy. So you're saying physical exercise should be part of your preps?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
It's kind of right up there with mindset.
Okay. So bug out bag. This is the starting of your bug out bag. And I'm not saying go actually buy the bag, but in the PDF that we will include, we'll post it everywhere. It starts getting you thinking of things that you need to buy and things you already have. I mean, a lot of the stuff in the bug out bag you already own. You don't know it, like hygiene items. When you get to the cotton balls and Vaseline, and everyone will learn what all these items are.
Yeah.
And why you need them. But it gets you in the process. There's 17,000 lists of bug out bags. So I found a generic one that's a PDF, and it's good to get you started. And what is a bug out bag for, Kyle?
Bugging out.
And what does bugging out mean?
Bugging out means that.
And when would you bug out?
When would I bug out?
You would do it just for fun, I know, but
I probably would do it just for fun. Bug out bag is essentially, I wouldn't say it's your last ditch resort, but it is your plan B, your safety fallback. Regardless of what's going on, if you find yourself in a densely populated area and there's an EMP, maybe there's a hurricane, maybe there's a snowstorm, and you know that your city on a regular basis fails to restore power within the first week.
So what does a bug out bag cover? Is it to go out and live in the woods for a year?
No, typically 72 hours.
72 hours. Okay, some people call it a 72-hour bag. So 72 hours that you can leave your home and you have everything you need.
Yeah, change of clothes, basic hygiene items, first aid, water purification, shelter.
Some food?
I plan to just hunt that with my bare hands.
Okay.
Or eat the person next to me.
Okay. So let's go to the next item, which is pool shock.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of people I see already. Someone mentioned about TAPS providers. Pool shock, and not any pool shock. You have to be very, very careful about this. You need calcium. Again, calcium hypochlorite, not sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite can kill you. Calcium is actually what you're going to use to make stock bleach.
Right. And so the reason we went with pool shock here is because in the first 2 months, it's very unlikely you're going to be bugging out. You're going to need to possibly, the power goes out, the city water is dirty. You're going to need to be able to purify and you're at home, a larger amount of water. And if you're going to do that with a live straw or a Sawyer or a Katadyn, with the Pool Shock, you can literally put the water in your tub or a 5-gallon bucket and purify it all at one time.
Well, just to give you an idea too for the breakdown, I actually keep this on my phone everywhere I go. I keep charts in the house.
That does not surprise me, Kyle.
So for 1 quart, all you need is 2 drops of bleach in the water. You let it air out 4 to 5 hours, and the bleach will actually evaporate from the water after purifying it. For 50 gallons, all you need is 5 teaspoons.
5 teaspoons.
Yep.
The same thing. You got to mix it in there.
Mix it in.
Let it settle.
And it'll evaporate 4 to 5 hours. Now, however, a lot of people say that they actually keep vitamin C. So they'll actually take a couple of vitamin C to make it more palatable. Mm-hmm. They'll crush those up, pour that in there with it after it's evaporated, let it dissolve in there.
So would you say clean water is important?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if anyone's watched Alone, I think right there was a couple of people who got disqualified just for that.
Yep. And then I put trash bags. And people look at me weird. Why do you need trash bags? Well, trash bags, there's so many things you can do with trash bags. One is you can tote water in trash bags. You can make a solar still. Mm-hmm. You can cut it open. Now, these are black trash bags. You can use it as a raincoat. There's so many things you can do with just a trash bag. And these are the good trash bags. You would, construction trash bags, the big thick ones. There's so many things you can do, and as you in your prepping journey, your preparedness journey, you will learn 120 things you can do with a black trash bag. So just
absolutely.
You can also clean up. Then on the last purchase we have is I put 5 MREs. You questioned that earlier, and we almost had a gunfight here.
Almost.
But I said 5 MREs. And the reason I went with MREs, even though I'm a huge freeze-dried food person, 5 MREs is a self-contained meal. It lifts you up. Like I have some that have like peanut butter M&Ms in there. No, the peanut M&Ms in there is my dessert. All you need literally is a few ounces of water. It will heat your meal. You have like a 5-course meal in there, man. It's awesome.
My problem with MREs, and that's what I did early on whenever I began prepping, is I bought MREs for each one of our bug out bags. Weight and space. They're valuable items, and for 72 hours, I don't want something that can feed me and it's going to take up that much space and take up that much weight.
So you have a 175-pound bug out bag, and you don't have MREs in there?
No.
Gosh. Okay.
Freeze dried.
But I do like the MREs.
Freeze dried and then the bars.
Do not buy, if you see any package that says military MRE, if you see that on a website or you see that anywhere, a gun show, do not buy military MREs. The reason why is the only reason they're for sale is because they were getting close to the expiration date. Civilians cannot buy true MREs from the military, ever. The only way you can get them is surplus or actual GI sells his personal ones. The surplus meaning they've gone out of date or they're getting ready to go out of date. We learned that at Prepper Camp when they were speaking about that. So buy a generic MRE. I got my MRE here. I forgot who makes it. I don't even know. But anyway, you can also do freeze-dried Legacy. Legacy is the best. So that's what you got to purchase. That's not a great deal in the first month. That's a few $100s.
Yeah.
You would argue there should be a gun on here.
I would.
I put that on month 2 and 3, not 1 and 2. Why would you say it needs to be this soon?
First 60 days. Say you started today. You might say conspiracy theories or things going on in the economy. say 45 days from now, there's riots. Everything we see in the news, from Black Lives Matters to, outright Communist Party movements happening in our country, ISIS attacks. 45 days in, you have yourself more food, water purification, bug out bag, but you have no way to defend any of it. You can be easily taken advantage of.
The reason I put that in day 60 through 120, or month 3 and 4, is because I was looking at this course as someone that was, downtown working in a bank, and the first thing you do is you tell someone, hey, you got to go get a gun. Even though we know they need a gun, that's not the best way to welcome someone into a new way of thinking, is, hey, go buy a gun or you're going to die. And that's why I put it, as they read some of the books, the mindset, it will set them up to think, I need a gun.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Well, even there, we have a lot of these conversations with friends and family, and people are always hesitant to do anything. Me, myself, I bought my first gun
when you were 3.
No, I actually shot my first gun when I was about 3. But I didn't buy my first gun until I was like 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And even whenever I bought that gun, I was very hesitant about the idea of shooting someone from a standpoint of morals and ethics and a religious background. But for me, it came down to it eventually that you have to be able to protect yourself. If not, you will be taken advantage of. And I've had a gun pointed at me twice in my life. Luckily, both times my wife didn't pull the trigger. No, kidding. But both times I was able to get away.
Your wife, that's funny. Hey, we're going to take a little commercial break. G-Man, we will be back in a few seconds.
Prepper's Asylum is the premier preparedness outfitter. They carry in stock and ship direct the products you're looking for. MREs, freeze-dried food, Kelly kettles, water filtrates, first aid and trauma kits, stoves, personal protection, self-defense supplies, and more. Prepper's Asylum are people just like you and I. Find what you're looking for and use promo code PBN at checkout to receive 10% off. That's promo code PBN for 10% off at preppersasylum.com.
Hey, I'm Joe Alton, MD. I'm here to remind you that disasters can happen anytime, anywhere, and you need to know what to do in an emergency. The new 2016 third edition of the Survival Medicine Handbook is the essential guide for when medical help is not on the way. The Survival Medicine Handbook covers every issue you'll face in times of trouble, and it's all in plain English. Get the Survival Medicine Handbook at Amazon.com. I guarantee one day you'll be glad you did.
We have exciting news. You can now afford to have your own freeze dryer. That's right, for the first time ever, it's possible to have a freeze dryer in your home. It was invented right here in America by Harvest Right. With this new appliance, you can freeze-dry your own food and it will last 25 years. Imagine freeze-drying fruit, vegetables, meat, and your own homemade meals. It's as easy to use as a microwave. Learn more about this amazing home freeze dryer at harvestright.com. Again, that's harvestright.com.
Where can you find the best in food storage, water purification, heirloom seeds, medical, health, and emergency supplies? LifeReliance.com. What do Mountain House, Legacy Foods, Guardian, Wise Foods, and Relief Foods have in common? LifeReliance.com. Who has the lowest prices, special offers, and free consultation to help you develop an emergency preparedness plan that makes sense for your family? LifeReliance.com. Why would Life Reliance do all this? We are family, owned and operated. Let our family help you and your family be prepared. Visit us at LifeReliance.com or call 520-425-9771.
Hey, welcome back. We were checking out the chat room as we were listening to the commercials. Someone brought up first aid kit. Why don't we have the first aid kit on the first 60 days? And again, my thinking was most people have basic first aid at home already.
Well, even if you don't have just a few things, start learning other things that you can supplement. Like if you have, a wound that's, bleeding and you don't have any bandages around, sugar. A lot of times you can find packets of sugar. I've done that. I've actually done that before. I slit my hand wide open.
Well, I've heard cayenne pepper. I've never heard of sugar.
Yeah, sugar will work also.
Okay. So anyway, first aid kits, we do have that. I know that my wife has one. I have one in my car already. And so, again, we're worried about price, and we're worried about there's so many things you're going to learn the first 60 days that it's a lifetime to learn first aid.
Yeah. And the other thing is, too, is there's so many packages out there that you can buy. And
it's part of the bug out kit, too.
Yeah.
And so as you see the list, you can start. So
yeah.
Okay, let's get on to training/action. Now, this is skills you need to learn and practice. The first one we have is start fire.
Yeah. I think we briefly touched on that, too, is testing it out in different environments.
Right.
If you've watched some of these survival shows, you have a heck of a time starting it with wet wood.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Some of the best survival instructors in the world cannot start fires. Well, you saw Alone.
Oh, yeah.
They struggle without a fire rod. It's almost impossible.
The one contestant lost his. I remember he was on a riverbed.
He tapped out.
He was done.
These are professional survival instructors. He lost his fire rod, and he said, "I'm done. I need to go home." So you need to learn how to build fires, and there's ways to cheat to do that. I mean, there's wood, particular type of woods that you can find in the woods, in the forest, that can help you easier. You can, and there's a way to make a starter bundle, a tinder, and you build up the fire. So there's but you gotta learn how to make a fire, and you gotta make it two ways. One is a fire rod, and one is with a lighter. You gotta know how to do it. So the first 60 days, learn how to take wet wood, make a fire. Dry wood. A lot of people, if I went downtown and grabbed a banker, and I said, "Hey, you're in the woods, build a fire." Some of them could do it, and some of them couldn't.
Well, and then add the stress factor onto it. You're freezing, or you need to cook something, and maybe you're dehydrated, you haven't eaten in a few days, you need to make a fire. It's going to be even more difficult.
Right. So the next thing is water purification. Just because you have a Sawyer water filter and now you have pool shock doesn't mean you actually know how to use them.
Yeah.
So you got to take your water filter out of the cover, out of the bag. You got to use it. You got to put it on a bottle. You got to learn how to use it. Same with the pool shock. You got to not only mix it, but you got to memorize it. Or start a notebook, which is actually in the next segment. You got to start a notebook and put it in there, because when it's stressful, that might be you might put too much and it could harm you.
Yeah. Well, then God forbid, say something happens to you, and your wife and your kids didn't memorize that. You have a notebook. You have maybe even note cards that you take out, cut those up, have those sealed. They have those. You
can almost put it in a Ziploc bag that you're storing your pool shock in.
Yeah. Have a permanent marker, write everything on there.
Exactly. Okay, the next is very difficult.
Yeah.
It is, and what it is your documents. This is your birth certificates, your titles, your marriage certificate, all the photos of all your family members. All that needs to be scanned.
All family members?
Well, not all. All the ones you have. You want to keep. You got to have that scanned and put on a thumb drive. Not on Dropbox, not on one box, on a thumb drive. If you have to leave your house in 20 seconds, all your information is on a thumb drive. If your house is burning down, you don't want to go back in and try to get your photos or your important documents. You'll have it on a thumb drive. That is just good common sense.
Yeah.
Once you do that, there's a lot of pressure relieved off of you in your house. Now you just have things. Some things are important, But the things like birth certificates, social security cards, all that, you have a digital copy. There are ways to secure that even NSA couldn't break it. And so, but you need to do that. I know one lady from our prepping group, Karen, she's been working on it for months. Which the sad thing is, she's the only person that's talking about it, and I've been preaching this for a while.
Yeah.
Because I did this, and it took me a year.
Yeah.
I had the flatbed scanner. Now you can do it with a camera or your iPhone and just take photos.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
But she's the only one talking about it, which kind of worries me. That means no one else is doing it, because she's telling us this is hard, this is difficult, this takes a lot of time and planning. So, but scan your documents. Trust me, it could be a lifesaver. The next is a security check.
This is like my favorite thing to do.
Okay, lead off. Go ahead then.
I love this. One of the first things I started whenever I was prepper is, not having a lot of money. I thought, you know what? I'm going to have to make the best with what I have. I'm going to be bugging in. I'm going to fortify this place, make sure no one else is breaking into it. Start at your front yard. Start at your driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, you can back down your driveway a little bit, look at your neighborhood, etc. But, just taking a simple walk around. Can someone pick up a brick and use it to bash in your window? Do you have lawn ornaments out there that someone could use? What are the ways that someone would try and break into your house? Is your house fully secured? Well, do you have thorny bushes up towards, lower pedestal windows that kind of help, as a deterrent for people? One of my favorite things I did, and I went overboard, I'll admit, like every single door frame in the house.
The 4-inch screws?
4-inch screws, anchored right in there.
And this is embarrassing. I have 7 doors that goes to the outside of my house.
Yeah.
That's not counting the garage door.
Mm-hmm.
6 doors. That's because we have a sunroom and we have a basement. And it literally, I did every single door within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Backing the screw out, putting a 4-inch in there. I did every door in about 15, 20 minutes.
They also carry those metal shim kits
Yes.
that you can actually put on there. And I've watched videos on those where they even had SWAT teams trying to use the battering rams to get in. Mm-hmm. They just gave up.
And we're not trying to keep SWAT teams from coming in, just the bad guys, which could be the same. Yeah, looking at Kyle. But security check. So you need to not only physical, but also on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to, I'm not one of these people that say you need to completely disappear on the internet, but you need to protect your documents. You need to protect your kids. You need to protect things that you have, like that thumb drive that you just made with all your information. You need to have copies, 10 of them. Put one in your car, one in your bug out bag, maybe a safety deposit box. Maybe give it to your, someone on your survival team.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get into it. It's if you, secure it correctly. Give it, like the guy on Secure Lock, or is it where he puts his social security number?
Oh yeah, his actually got hacked though, I think.
Oh, did it really? That's funny. But anyway, make many copies of that. Security check. Just go around and saying, hey, how is my family? And how can we be put in a situation that will make us safer in every aspect, electronically and physically? The next is planting a small garden.
Absolutely.
Again, one of the things I say that if you're just prepping, at some point your preps will run out. You've got to learn how to grow food. Absolutely. Preppers die
without food.
And you've got to not only learn food, but you've got to do heirloom seeds. You got to learn how to grow them. And you also have to learn how to take seeds from your current plants. Because you got to reproduce.
And you can't do that with any regular seeds.
Right.
You just buy, your local hardware store or something. You need to make sure you have organic, open pollinating heirloom seeds.
Yes. So you got to learn how to garden. Even apartment dwellers can do that.
Yeah, and trial and error.
Right.
You have to.
Okay, an emergency plan. So these are things you got to learn how to do and you're not going to learn all these first 60 days, but you got to put together an emergency plan for you and your family. So a tornado's coming. Husband's at work, wife's at home, kids at school. What do? You got to have that plan. The great thing about that is there's a lot of plans you can find on the internet. They're going to kind of help you go through there. The phone system's out. How are y'all going to communicate with each other? Is there a place to meet? Like, for an example, I live within a mile. I think you live within a couple miles of a train track.
Yeah.
What happens if in Texas, a train that carries chemicals and they evacuate 2 miles? That's me.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, what's our plan? So you got to have an emergency plan. You got to start thinking about it. Your emergency plan will change on a quarterly basis for the rest of your life because things change, new cell phone numbers, you make new friends, you have fights with family members, you don't want to go to their house anymore. So that's a living document. So you got to start thinking about that, look online, and start creating one. I guess my concern is if something happens to the cell phone system, people, that's when the Walking Dead's going to start.
Yeah.
Because they look at their phone and they go,
"Where's my Pokemon?"
Yeah. Where's the next Pokemon? No, they're going, how do I get in touch with my wife? Where is she? How do I know she's safe? And people will start freaking out.
They will. They absolutely will.
Because this generation, even I haven't experienced that in 15, 20 years. I've always had a phone. So what if I didn't have one? Have you ever gone without a phone for a few days?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever gone to work and left your phone, and you feel like you're just not?
No, I don't
complete?
trust my employees.
You don't.
I make sure I have it on me when I leave.
But so I think bad things can happen when people don't have a phone, and your stress level will go sky high if you don't have a plan. I mean.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if your phone dies and you don't know where your wife is, she says, "Hey, I've gone XYZ and I had to run these errands," and next thing I know, I haven't heard from her in an hour. Me being the person I am, I'm very analytical. My mind runs a mile a minute. First thing I'm thinking is on phone. Then I'm thinking, oh, she was in a car wreck. Then I'm thinking,
right.
She went.
And that could be a child too, not just a wife.
Absolutely.
Well, where's my kids? Are they at school? I mean, what is going? I mean, so yes. So have a plan that gives peace of mind. So that is action. That's a few actions. We're going to post this up on the website, and you can kind of. It's just a one-page slide that we'll post up there, and it will just show you everything we're talking about.
And keep in mind, this is just the
this
first
way.
one.
This is the way you got to do it.
Yeah, this
There's
is the
no
first
other
segment.
way. No.
Yeah, but this is the first segment.
It is the first segment. Yes.
There are obviously a lot of preppers out there.
Yes.
And I would say the majority of the people who are going to be listening have already accomplished a lot of this. So this is just something to go back and go over your basics.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're just starting out and you feel like you can tackle more as the next one comes up, dive in.
Yep. So we went over things that you need to purchase, training and action. I mean, you need to start fires, you need to know how to purify water. And that's just 2 ways. I mean, in my survival class that I teach, I teach people not all 15 ways, but we go over 15 ways you can start a fire. From using rock, glass, air, steel wool, batteries. I mean, there's a ton of different ways.
Yeah.
We're just asking you need to learn to simple fire rod, matches, lighter, something like that. And then purify water, get your documents. That is something, even if you're not a full-fledged prepper.
It's just common sense.
That's just common sense. And especially the hard part are for the older people. We have a lot of photos that weren't taken on the digital camera. No. You're young, Kyle. You're younger than I am. Do you actually have printed photos?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You do, you?
We actually still have photos that are still in film. We have to develop.
Okay, right. That's the problem with the digital photos. You never get them developed. You just see them on the computer. But yeah, we have a ton of photos, and so but we do have some older ones that that I've scanned almost all of them. So that's the action. So purchase, action, now mindset. I would say the mindset is probably the most important.
Yeah, because you can buy, you can train, but if you don't have the mindset, I have several good friends I've known for years who have been into the prepping lifestyle, and the topics that will come up when we discuss economic collapse, World War III, pandemics, et cetera, I will literally see grown men's jaws start to quake. And they're fully prepared, and they've trained. They can do all this, but the mindset has not been adapted. They are not hardening themselves that way.
Right. So I agree 100%. Mindset is key. And so you have to think through scenarios before they happen. That trains you. Well, that's what the military does. They put you in a situation so you can react the way the military wants you to react. They put you in that situation so you're trained to make the right decision. So you don't have to think about it. It's just becomes natural for you. Now, not that the military, they don't train you not to think, but that's why they put you. That's why we had exercises. That's why we did 72-hour exercise without any sleep, and we did a job because that really happens, and we got to be ready for that. And so
it's muscle memory.
Muscle memory. And so what we're going to do on mindset is this is the easiest part. One is read the book 1 second after. We just 2 weeks ago had the author of 1 Second After here in Charlotte, Dr. Wim Fortune. He wrote the book. There were many people, I'm talking at least 15 people that said, we are here, we are now preppers because of that book. It is an easy entry for someone to get into the prepping world by reading that book, because it literally scares the crap out of people. And it's real. It's real. It happens in North Carolina, Black Mountain, Montreat, North Carolina. Talks about Charlotte, Hickory, Asheville. He talks about real people, some of his friends, some of the people in the book are their true name as well.
Yeah.
And he came to Charlotte. We had 90 plus people, and he was awesome. He was good.
Yeah.
You wanted more at him because you knew that he knew more than he was saying about things going on.
Whenever you have someone as a personal friend of Newt Gingrich, you know he's in the know.
And he was touching on a few things like top secret, but he wouldn't tell us.
Starts talking about underground bunkers and stuff like that,
For the wealth and it was. I could just see your face. You're like, come on, dude, just tell us.
Let me grab him for like 5 minutes. I'll shake it out of him.
We don't care if NSA's gonna come in here and arrest you if you say some of this stuff. But that's a good book. That's a good read. I mean, I think I read that book in a couple of days. But you need to read that book. That gives you. So 1 second after. It takes place in North Carolina. But the interesting part of it is no one knew what was going on. All of a sudden, all power, all cell phones stopped. And they had to discover as a community how to handle all the different situations. They were trying to figure out what was going on. They had to handle games. They had to team up. They had to ration food. And you learn so much, even though the story hasn't happened. As you're reading it, you're like, wow, never thought about that. And it helps you in your mindset. Because people die. And in that book, I'll give a little bit away. One of the first things that happens is the hospital. People started dying because they were on machines. And it was affecting the whole community.
The other thing, too, is with the mindset and going back on the books is, once people start reading different books, they're going to come up with more questions for family and friends. And it's one of those things that evolves, and you ask your family and friends certain questions, and you may or may not like the way they respond to these things morally and ethically, and it really makes you question, can I count on this person when something happens?
Right.
There are people that may be preppers for years. They know everything there is under the sun, but it might come down to one really important moral question, and I have to back away.
Right. The next is read a book called Patriots. Great book by Rawlings. Patriots is a book just the opposite of One Second After. These people were trained. They were in a survival group. They had matching guns. They had matching uniforms. They had everything to the tilt. I mean, money was not an object. Then you go through the pain and struggling and you learn so much in that book. It was an awesome book. I mean, that is, so you actually, first book you go through, people were discovering they didn't know what to do. The second book, they were trained like an army, and yet you still see even the well-trained, the ready of the ready, the most ready people in the struggles they had. It was a great book. So that's 2 books. The next one is ASA Survival Guide. Why do they need that book?
SAS Survival Guide.
That's what I said, wasn't it?
No.
What did I say?
I don't think
I can repeat it. SAS Survival Guide. I got it right here. But why do they need this book, Kyle?
It covers so much, from basic skills to advanced skills. There's a couple different versions of it out there. I know the one that I have goes over more military skills, talks more about evasion, tactics, different things that were deployed over in the Middle East. And even for dealing with something at home, it opens up your mind to exploring other possibilities and vulnerabilities within your own life. I mean, even one of my friends is in the Army, going into Rangers, I gave it to him. He absolutely loves the book.
So this goes from, it has everything here, from food, edible plants, making traps, shelters, directions from the stars. It's just like it's a survival guide. It gives you all the information you need. And if you had this and the tools, you could survive. Oh, first aid. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a great book. I mean, this will be a part of your bug out bag. You should never depart from this book. It could save your life. And the information in here, if you knew everything in here, you'd be one bad mamma jamma. I mean, that's just a lot of good information. So that's the 3 books. Now, the Survival Guide is not one you're going to sit down and just read, not like the other 2 books. Survival Guide is, if you want to learn about trapping, you go to trapping, read through it, no problem. If you want to learn about some first aid or some plants, but you got to have that. It's called the SAS Survival Handbook. And they have different sizes. Mine is, 6-7 inches by 4 inches. Goes right in my bug out bag. It's not in there today because I took it out so I could have it handy. So that is 1 through 60 days. We didn't try to overwhelm, spend a fortune, get you introduced, get some mindset items. Anything you want to add to that? Oh, someone in the chat room put a burner phone.
A burner phone is probably something I would go with a little bit later on.
Yeah, that costs money.
Yeah, and the burner phones, from whatever I've looked into the different plans, it's not something that you just simply activate when you need it. You buy it and you would have to continuously update it for the minutes. Mm-hmm. So like once you log into that number, maybe you buy 30 days worth. It's not like you can activate it and then those 30 days are applicable just whenever. It's pretty much from the purchase of the phone, and they expire.
And they expire, yeah. Yeah, and we're not trying to go all top secret. If there's a disaster, why wouldn't your phone work?
Yeah.
It either does work or doesn't work.
Yeah.
Not like, I mean, maybe this person's trying to hide from the government. I don't know. Hey, so in closing, please visit our website at preppingacademy.com. Preppingacademy.com. We're going to have a contest, so sign up to be on our newsletter. This contest is going to be huge. No, wait, Trump says it. Huge. It's going to be huge. Everyone that signs up on our newsletter will be entered into our contest. That's preppingacademy.com. I'll have more details possibly by next week. Our website is not fully functional when it comes to the actual classes. The opportunity of the radio show came up way before we thought it was going to, so we jumped on this. But we're working on that daily. We'll have that up soon. Join us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. All the links are on preppingacademy.com. Where's that, Kyle? I'm going to make you say it.
preppingacademy.com.
preppingacademy.com. So join us there and sign up for our mailing list. And again, huge contest. Huge. Oh, Trump. Last few seconds. What did you think last night?
That was interesting, for sure. I really like Peter Thiel. From what?
I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I thought Trump did good. I'm voting.
Yeah, I was still going to vote for Cruz.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good night.
Today's broadcast has come to you through the courtesy of the Prepper Broadcasting Network. See our hosts, show schedules, archived programs, and more at prepperbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can seem intense. Like breakup R&B intense.
I thought you said you loved the sweater that I got you. If you didn't, you could have told me.
Geico makes it easy. Just go to Geico.com anytime to update or check your policy without all the extra drama.
I even had a gift receipt.
Fashion emergency hotline.
Help! My mom doesn't think I need to go back to school
You have to go to school. It's the law.
You didn't let me finish. She doesn't think I need to go back to school shopping.
That should be a law. Go to Old Navy. You'll be voted best dressed before school even starts.
Old Navy?
Yes, right now, kids' clothes are up to 60% off.
60% off?
Yeah, the hallway will be your runway. They have awesome graphic tees, colorful active gear, and jeans start at just $10.
Now you're talking. Thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank Old Navy. Valid 7/28 to 9/2. Select styles only.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.